Hey guys, it's Miss Alicia, Spiritual Wellness Mindset Coach. I help people who struggle with forgiveness and the negative impact of starting over. Today's message is coming from Genesis chapter 38, verses 1 through 26. And it's entitled, Did I Do Too Much? Before I get into the lesson, I want to give you a few definitions. The first definition is recognized. Recognize means to confess, identify, validate, admit. The second one is the word seal. Seal is like when you take a stamper and you stamp it on a piece of paper and it's now official. It's authentic. It's the real deal. Okay? And so seal means a piece of wax or lead or other material with an individual design stamped into it, attached to a document to show that it comes from someone who claims to have issued it. And lastly, the word widow. Widow is a woman who lost her spouse by death and has not remarried. So tell me, have you ever been accused of doing something that you did not do, but it looks like you did it? And it's hard to prove that you didn't do it, but you know in your heart you didn't do it. But guess what? The people around you, you can't convince them. They are just sure that you did. Or have you ever been promised something by someone and they told you that they'll get back to you, and you found yourself waiting for days, weeks, months, even years have passed by, and you haven't heard anything? Not a text, not an email. You understand? Nothing came in the mailbox. Nobody relayed a message to you. Nothing. And you found yourself feeling a little bitter and feeling like you wanted to clap back toward them. Well, that's what this message is about. So in Genesis chapter 38, verses 1 through 26, I tend to ad-lib, because when I read, I'm fascinated by the Bible. Now, there's funny things in the Bible, serious things in the Bible, scary things in the Bible, things that check us, right? Let us know when we on the wrong path, get ourselves back the way we should. Well, God called me to speak on forgiveness. And as you guys have heard in many of my videos, I don't feel worthy, but God feels that I'm worth it to do it. He allowed me to go through some things. He delivered me from it, and here I am. There are a lot of you out there. Whether you ever acknowledge it, we all go through things, and we have issues with forgiveness, unforgiveness. And it's time that we address it the best way that we can, because it's been blocking us, blocking our lives. And it's time to move forward. It's time to wake up. It's time to let go. Am I saying forget what somebody did? No, not at all. Am I saying that we need to move on? That is exactly what I'm saying. How can we do it? We're going to acknowledge it. We're going to expose it. We need to get delivered from it, and we need to celebrate moving forward. Okay? So this message is about a man named Judah. Now, he's not a king, but he is a leader. Okay? And Judah left his brothers, and he went to another town, Adullam, and he met a man named Hira. They became good friends. While he was there in that town, he met a woman, a Canaanite woman, and they ended up getting married and having children. So the first child that they had was named And then a little bit after, they had Onan, another son. And lastly, some years later, they had their last son named Shelah. Okay? Now, it says that Judah, the daddy, he went and got his older son, a woman, to marry. So they married. And it says that, to the reader, me and you, it says that God was not pleased with because was doing some wicked things, okay? And God took his life. So the custom is back then is that the daddy went to Onan and said, listen, your brother gone. I'm going to need you to carry out his duties with his wife. You need to get with her and you need to have some babies with her in honor of your brother to carry out this error. So Onan, he didn't like that. It's like, you want me to go get with this woman that's not even mine. You want me to have some feelings for her, have some babies with her. And on top of that, even though this is my youth I'm giving to her, I got to dedicate it to my brother. I never get the recognition. I got to live in the shadows of my brother. So it says that every time he had to lay with her, he made sure that no youth was passed on to her so that she could not conceive. It says that God was not pleased with that either and took his life. Now, it's something. God did not warn the daddy. He did not warn the wife. He did not warn the brothers. Nothing. He did it. Sometimes God will have us out here looking silly, making people question us, and we had nothing to do with it. Now, you might say, Miss Alicia, that don't sound fair. It doesn't. Always know that what God is doing is greater than what we are dealing with in that moment. Sounds crazy to say, but I'm telling you, that's what it seems to be. So it says that after Onan had passed, Judah, the daddy, went to Tamar, which is Er's wife, the one, okay, that Judah picked for him. He went to her and he said, listen, he said, my sons is gone. He said, Sheila, he not old enough yet. So what I want you to do is go on back home. Go on back home to your daddy house. And when he gets of age, I'm going to send for you. Okay? I'm going to send for you. And so she had to go. Now, mind you, everybody in that town, I'm pretty sure they was over there. Girl, guess what? Girl, she finna leave. Yeah, Judah sent her home. Girl, you know what happened? Both of her men then passed away. They looking at her like she bad luck. So mind you how Tamar must have felt. She got to go back to her hometown. She got this mark on her name. You understand what I'm saying? People over there, girl, Tamar back. You heard? Girl, not one gone, but two. Yeah, I heard it's another one, but he little, so maybe that man got away with keeping his other child. So she got to go home being a widow. She's not able to mess around. She's not able to get married to nobody because she's still tied to these people's Urim. So it says that over time, Judah's wife passed away. Okay? So he had been grieving her. And it must have come a time where he was no longer grieving her. So him and Hira, his friend, decide they're going to go out of town about checking on their sheep to get sheared. So it says that Tamar heard that he's about to come through. So he got to come through that area in order to get to where he needs to go. So it says that Tamar plotted. And she was like, So she went and changed out of her widow clothes and put on some harlot clothes and went on down to Enam and stayed near the entrance there. So she'd be able to see him passing by. So it says that she was alluring. She was beautiful. And she caught his eye. And the way I read it, it just seemed like he was like, noticed her, right? And she locked eyes on him too. And he like, hey, girl. And she like, hey. He like, how you doing? She like, I'm okay. He like, I would like. And she like, what's in it for me? And he like, well, what you want? And she like, well, what you got? And he like, well, I got a kid goat. And she like, well, I don't see no goat with you. So what could you give me until this goat come? Well, what you want? Well, what about that staff and that cord and that seal right there? Okay. So he gave her those 3 identities that says who he is. That's almost like equivalent to his birth certificate, social security card, and his identification card. He gave it all for a little bit of time with her. Okay. So it says that after all that took place, he went on about his way with his friend They finished their business. She went on back to her town, switched clothes, got back in them widow clothes, right? And it says he had went back and he told his friend, hey, do me a favor. Take this kid goat back up there for me. I don't want to go. If you don't mind, take it up there for me. So Hera, but he didn't have no problem. Like, okay, I'll take it. So when Hera gets there with the goat, looking for her, she's nowhere to be found. And he's like, now I know I was right. We was right up in this area. So he asked the local men, hey, where's that harlot that be right here? They're like, I don't know what you're talking about. Don't no harlot be around here. And he's like, wow, oh, okay. So it says that Hera took the goat back to Judah. And he was like, look, I went to say, I know where we was at. She wasn't there. I even asked around. They said they don't know nothing about no harlot being over there. And so Judah kind of like laughed, like, you know what? Let's just stop. Let's not talk about it no more. We're not going to bring it up. We're going to be the laughing stock of the town. I'm just let that stuff go. Let her have it. She just a harlot. She ain't nobody, right? And, that stuff I got, dime a dozen. I can have some more made. So he thinking so highly of himself and so low of her. He's not worried about it, right? So it says time went on. 3 months passed. And word got back to Judah saying, guess what? Your daughter-in-law, Tamar? Yeah, she been playing the harlot. And she pregnant. So, of course, Judah, that was like music to his ears. He probably like, yeah, right? Because he's already been trying to wait it out. He does not want her with his last child. You think he want to lose his last child? Y'all got to think about that. When you see a pattern or something, you be trying to like, I don't know, right? So he immediately says, oh, no, have her brought out and have her burned. Oh, yeah? Wow. You went deep. You really tried to get rid of her, right? You're not thinking. You're not thinking about nothing. All you see is somebody else's flaws, but you don't see your own, right? You know that saying they say, sweep around your own door before you sweep around somebody else's? And I know we've all done it. We've saw things in other people and we have to see things in ourselves. I work on myself all the time, especially nowadays, as we've gotten older, gotten wiser. But anyway, so it says that they was getting ready to deal with her, right? And she like, okay, wait, please, wait. Before y'all do anything to me, please, I have something. Oh, hold on a second. So she got them articles, them pieces, right? And she said, please take this to Judah and tell him, I'm sorry, y'all. And tell him, do he recognize these things? And let me know. So I can only imagine that whoever was taking that stuff to Judah, that they wanted to kind of peek at it. And they probably saw, that's his stuff, right? But in case they didn't see it, it might have been put in a little baggie or something. And all I can tell you is when he got that and he looked in there and saw it, he was like, oh, she got me. You know what? She more righteous than I am. And he had to call the whole thing off. So, why am I telling you this story? Well, for one, God gave me this message to give to you. And before you got it, I had to get it. So for those of you that are Judah, ask God, God forgive me for thinking that I was more than somebody else. God forgive me for just getting out there and putting my lifeline out there, not thinking about the consequences. And if you are Tamar, that Tamar spirit, ask God to forgive you for being impatient. Ask God to forgive you for taking matters into your own hands. Okay? We all could learn something from this message. I want you to think about that today. The word recognize, seal, widow. I'll talk to you soon, okay? Think about it. Bye.